How many podcasts have you done?
Like around 100, but not really like consistently. 2019, I did like probably like 50 of them. It was pretty good, and then 2020 kind of just like threw everything off.
Gotcha.
It was hard at first because I was taking my equipment everywhere. So I would take like that mic. I had 2 mics, and then I would take the recording device and go record at people. Like we did one with him and Eric, me and him, outside the food park, like almost a year ago.
A
year ago.
Like a year ago. It was hot.
On the bench, we had to set up the little clamp, put it on the bench, and then I had a recording device. But then it's like wind and cars passing by. So the quality kind
Yeah, exactly. All that noise. The noise is like, it's so crazy how much of a difference it makes when you're in a studio. Like how much it makes for your sound and the voices. Because cars, you got some honking or something in the background. Yeah. Got some people fighting or something.
We had a gentleman that was 2 people that were searching for gold. Some sort of treasure that we are not aware of. If you go back and see the video,
that's true.
There is footage of it.
Yeah,
really?
We're sitting on the bench right outside, and he's like, "These dudes are looking for gold," and there was like the thing from the beach, the
metal detectors.
Detectors,
right out here,
right on the grass. So this is probably sitting on a gold mine. He doesn't even know it.
I don't even know it. There's probably an oil field under there or something.
You might have to get you a little cheap metal detector. Walk the field.
Or maybe you know. I don't know. You guys, I don't even know how you'd use that. I don't think you can find oil with it. Metal detector. Some sort of metal, right?
It has
metal.
to be metal, cotton. I don't know about copper. I don't know how the things work.
Diamonds, maybe.
Diamonds? I don't know, bro. I don't even know how that works.
Probably that's so. Anyway, just traveling and trying to set up everywhere, like a
lot of work.
Unless you had like a van, kind of like what's his name?
I know Steve-O has one. Have you ever watched Steve-O's podcast?
Alfalfa, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard Alfalfa DJs on his van?
Oh yeah,
a portal podcast and just drive around. That'd be kind of cool too.
What was your goal when you started doing your podcast?
Because I was growing my audience through Coachella videos. I was just like, okay, I want to interview. Well, my goal was like to get 1,000 episodes. That was like the first. I just wanted to talk to. I know it's gonna be repeated episodes with like friends or recurring guests, but I wanted to do 1,000 episodes. That was like the first thing I said. Was I want to do 1,000 interviews, conversations with other people, and then just try to learn.
Yeah.
So that was like the only goal I set for myself, just 1,000 episodes, and then didn't really have a plan, to be honest. Just that.
Just talk to 1,000 people, basically. Have like 1,000 conversations.
My first episodes, the first like 10 episodes was with my friends. Like I just hit up my friends and then they came over, and a couple local like artists and stuff. But I've had all kinds of random guests. You know, there's no, it's not like niche down. Like, I don't know, following a niche.
Yeah, I get you. That's kind of how I've done my podcast, just because I've listened to Joe Rogan a lot, Joe Rogan Experience. So I kind of did almost the same idea, just talk to whoever's interesting to me, at least.
Yeah. No, it's cool because then you get to like, you don't get a lot of views on an episode, but you make a connection with the person. Have you noticed that? Like, you either keep up with them on social media or like something comes up, a business, something with business, something with I don't know, it's like a connection because it's having a 1 hour conversation with someone, you know. It's like no one, you don't get that with anybody else.
You never have that authentic conversation without any commercial breaks or whatever, basically, you know. Like you walk away, you're on a phone call for 20 minutes, whatever, that's it. You don't sit there for an hour, 2 hours without touching your phone or... It's interesting, man. It's crazy. I like it. And sometimes, man, you learn some crazy stuff. Like I talked to a guy who's like big into just like plants and just growing, like just all that, like from marijuana to like even like micro nutrients or I don't even know how it's called, microgreens. Yeah. And man, the science he had behind it, I was like, we ended up having almost a 2 hour conversation.
By the way, this
just
episode
talking about
is sponsored by Indio Food Park. No,
shout out.
Shout out to Indio Food Park.
You guys should have what's it called, sponsors, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's one of the goals that I wanted to do here was help other people produce a podcast. Like, if you ever want to record here, just have have you record it here and maybe other people's podcasts. Give them a space for people, because I know there's a lot of people who would want to start a podcast, but it's like, I don't even know where to start. What camera? Do I need a mic? Am I going to do audio? It's hard. So that was like the goal here that I talked to Eric. Like, let's do a community kind of podcast studio you see these studios in LA. That's the only place like I've seen LA and then like Orange County, because I was Googling stuff before I kind of had my plan, and then there's a few of them in LA and stuff, but nowhere here in the valley. You know, like
you made it grow. Like you made it grow a lot since you started, bro. Did not look like this when you started.
No, I know it's been like 9 months. Or...
Yeah, he's put a lot of money and time into this little place. Like, it was not where it was. Like there used to be carpet in here, and there used to be like a slice of pizza on the floor.
Jeez.
Am I mistaken about that? I don't think I'm wrong about that.
No, that opening right there. There's an opening that's that was for mail, so I had to cover it up. So when we first walked in, someone threw a pizza through mail, like a slice of pizza.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of trash right here. People just throw things to it.
Yeah, it was like a local episode of Breaking Bad when they threw that.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was. We've come a long way.
How do you feel since you started here in the 9 months? You feel like it's...
Well, we've barely been open for 2 months.
Well, I'm just saying from you even just moving in, like how do you feel about this place now from the 9 month?
Oh yeah,
it's starting from the beginning, like you said, with the pizza on the floor.
Yeah, it's exciting because we haven't even really opened the studio because the food park's open. Come every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah,
Not sponsored by any food park.
Sponsored by Indio Food Park, the best entertainment in the Coachella Valley. Open 3 to 10. I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, so the food park's been open and people are coming here, but I haven't really launched it or actually promoted just because it's COVID. COVID, when we first opened, it was COVID, you know. Now it's still COVID, but people are kind of like more open back to a little normal.
Yeah.
So I was waiting. I don't want to have, because it's like indoors and I don't know, I felt like it wasn't ready for people. But definitely, like, this is like the first time we're talking about it. Like, I haven't really promoted it or nothing.
Man, it looks beautiful. There's definitely going to be a lot of people that are going to take you up on this. It's worth it for sure, especially if you're trying to start something and then you want to start and you want it to look professional, like right off the jump. This would be the way to go. And podcasts is kind of how they live and die. Like if you start, it sounds bad from the jump. You don't have good video from the beginning. It can kill your podcast like before you even start, before you even gain an audience.
Yeah, that's but it's also good to start with whatever you have. Like when I my first podcast, it was just one camera, and I didn't even have mics. Like I was putting like a Rode mic.
That's what I have right now.
Point and shoot, and it's like at least you're doing it though, and you've had a lot of guests on your show, so it's like you're already better off than somebody who's barely gonna start because you have that experience, and people see that too. Like, oh, he might not have the best equipment, but he's putting in that work. He's consistent, or he's always getting guests. You know, people do see that.
Well, people don't realize how good of your phone is. You know, like your phone can shoot 4K and shoot if you shoot 1080. So like, all you need is to start really like a shotgun mic, a Rode shotgun mic, and at least you have one camera and a shotgun mic. It might not be the highest quality, but sounds pretty good, and the video is pretty good from the one video source you have.
Yeah, but there's just like the entry to start. That's why it's hard to grow too, because of the same reason. Anybody could start right away. So the thing I learned was consistency, and like I'm still barely getting consistent because I took almost like a year off.
Yeah,
it was just hard 2020. So barely the last few months I'm kind of like scheduling. Like I told you, just learned about the Canon Lee, trying to get guests and all that stuff.
That's a good move. I need to take you up on that too. I need to start checking it out because I've had you and I had another interview or like business meeting that they use Calendly too. So it seems like it's starting to be used more often. It's a lot easier than trying to text people or DM them. Yeah?
Oh yeah, I use it for them. Like if I need to do consulting with food people or whatever, I would do it on that. I also do it I started doing it for events. Like when I did like a specific event, I'll put it on there and then vendors can know
when you want them to
be. Want to be there. Calendly has its downfalls though. Calendly does have problems. Like the only thing is like you can't overlap. You guys will run into
that. Yeah.
So if you ever want multiple guests, you'll run into the fact that you can't overlap them. That's one thing that they're working out, that bug. They haven't even worked it out, but that's the one like downfall is like multiple people. So like if you have like multiple vendors or whatever like,
coming to the same place.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like it ends up being an issue. But you can make it work. It's especially for like podcasting. One perfect thing. Calendly is absolutely perfect. And then I think you can charge on there too if you want to charge I mean, you guys aren't charging.
Oh, yeah, you could do
Yeah. Charge on it.
No, it has a lot of features and then you can create different events. Because I have the one for podcast, and it gives you options to do more different events, or I don't know if you're doing other types of things. Maybe like your Funko setups or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, here's my Calendly, and see whatever time works for your event and stuff. Like, that'd be cool.
Got you.
So what was your when you started your podcast? What was like your goal?
I don't know, man.
What you have in mind?
I wanted to just talk to like it was just listening to Joe Rogan. I wanted to talk to interesting people, like people that were. I wanted to be like almost, Joe Rogan talks to people that have done it. People that have already basically their careers figured out. They've made their money.
Experts,
like they're millionaires. Yeah. They're professionals. They've done it already. I wanted to talk to people that are in the middle of doing it. Like people that are just starting their business, or like a college athlete that just got out of college, or even professional bodybuilders that maybe just won their first show. Like those are people I've brought on. I've had business owners, like I had Pete from Flat Black. So people like that, just kind of people that are grinding, doing their thing. And then now I don't know, man. It's just kind of like, I don't know, just to be authentic, really. Like be authentic while everybody's kind of, a lot of people are being fake out there and kind of like just trying to be trendy. And I don't really like hold anything back on my podcast. Any topic, anything's kind of fair game. So that's kind of what it's about, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's good. And how many episodes have you done?
80. I have 80 done, and I've recorded 81. I just have to finish editing the 81st one. Yeah, so I'm hoping. I was talking to a buddy, so I'll get to episode 100, and then I'll see what I'm gonna do from there. Probably like revamp it, keep going, because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people. It was outside my comfort zone to start. I was definitely nervous my first couple episodes. I remember like getting in there and being like sweaty, and like being like almost like shaky. And now it's like it's pretty normal. It's kind of funny talking to people and it's their first time in there, and you see them and they're a little nervous, and you just tell them, get through the first 10, 15 minutes, and then you forget about it. You're just kind of talking at that point.
I always notice that too, like the first 20, 30 minutes, like the conversation, it's a little bit like you're holding, like you're tense or you're holding back. It depends on who it is. Like if you already know the people, or like they could keep a conversation, because I don't know if you've struggled with this, but I've had guests or like, I ask a question, I do something, and then they just reply, oh, yeah. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I got to keep asking.
You're like, dude, I'm trying to ask questions off what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you give me a one-word answer, I don't know where to go with that, Yeah, that's probably the toughest thing.
Especially because most of my guests, like, the same way your guests, like, it's first-timers, people, like, that are not used to doing interviews, versus if you get somebody that's always doing interviews or always doing kind of media stuff, then it's like, oh, they're cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's hard to get people to even commit to doing the podcast in the first place, so I can understand why they get all nervous.
I know, man. It's tough. That's the hardest part, getting them in there. Once they get in there and they start talking, it's okay usually for the most part. I've only had a couple that, I don't know, They end well and everything, but I usually cut them off kind of short, If it's like where it seems like they don't really want to talk, it's kind of, you don't want to just keep it going when nobody really, it just seems like it's one-word answers. People, you want to keep it entertaining, so I've had a few where they're like end at 20 minutes and kind of, it is what it is, kind of.
I've had some like that too. I had one, this guy, like after the first 10, it was like he was just trying to sell his business and not have a conversation. I was like, okay, cool. I was talking to him, asking him things. And it was just like no conversation. I was like, all right, we're just like shout out your social media where you can find you. let's go.
Oh, that's the toughest too, man. It's tough. Yeah, and like you said, like when they have nothing, they don't even seem like they want to talk to you. You're like, well, why are you here? Like, why'd you show up? But
for your podcast, you guys ever like have a script? Like, oh, these are things I'm gonna say.
I've never done a script. I don't know how you are.
Joe Rogan does scripts.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He doesn't. It's not like a script, but it's bullet points.
Yeah, bullet points.
So I was like, oh, today I want to touch on these 7 topics. I've done that before, not like as on my script here, but I've done like I'll put like a whiteboard with like 4 bullet points, just to remember. Like, oh, I want to remember to talk about this, because sometimes you get lost in the conversation, and then you wanted to bring something up, and you never get to.
Yeah.
Like, for all the interviews I've done, I don't even know how many I've done this, but I always like, oh my God, I need to try to hit all these. Because like one thing getting asked to answer questions, and then the other side is like the person answering the questions. Because you got to be really good at answering like the same questions. Like I get asked the same questions
over and over,
hundreds of times.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So so it's like you got to get like before you get burned out on that answering the same question.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I've used a script because not that I've had one like with me at the podcast, but like if I have a guest, I'll just like write their name down and kind of just write what they are, kind of like what they've done, like what.
Take some notes.
Yeah, and then it's just something I'll look over, and then just so I have like you said, have an idea of what to go over, so you're not just rambling about random shit.
Yeah, I like it when I got interviewed, and it's usually like the older people that do it when I've done interviews in there. They'll actually like look into my LinkedIn. It's like, oh, I looked into your LinkedIn and I saw that it was crazy. So I actually like, I like that they like actually looked into the platforms and like, who else did that? I did one with, I think it was Terrence he runs this big LA foodie thing, and he started doing it out here in the Inland Empire, and he was like on point. That guy like went into my stuff and like into depth. And,
just
like,
research the hell out of you.
Researched about me, and he had like these like great questions, and so I think it's like a lot of it has to do too with like, are they really good questions?
Yeah.
Are they really good questions, like meaningful questions? You know what I'm saying?
And that's what it helps with writing stuff down. Have you seen the Lex Friedman podcast?
No, but I like Lex Friedman off of watching him on Joe Rogan.
Like that dude, I don't watch a lot of his podcast, but I see clips on him. He always has like 3 pages of notes in front of him the whole time. Because he talks to like AI researchers and like these high-end, like, because he's an MIT professor. So like that dude has like full-on notes on his desk, like on a white paper. Like he asked some crazy deep questions because he already thought about it before he even brought the guest in. Like, I'm gonna ask him this, and this because I'm curious about this. So that could be an option too. I've never done it, but that could make it interesting depending on the guest.
Yeah, depending on the guest. Like, sometimes there's no, you can't go deep enough.
If it's like an expert, huh?
If you got some geniuses on, I'd understand. Having some questions laid out because you don't want to feel like you're lost and they're trying to keep up with what they're talking about. Like, and him, I would understand that. Like you said, the people he has on, he definitely would have to have something laid out, and their minds probably don't run like where it's like so free form and like oh, we could just bullshit. They want to like talk about what they study probably all day long.
Yeah, then just he's like an AI. He's trying to like solve the AI problem.
Yeah,
like he's like on his YouTube channel, he did a video where he automated his car to self-driving. Like it was like whatever, he made it himself, and he was playing the guitar while the car was driving. And he was just playing the guitar.
That's cool.
Like, that is crazy.
Man, I want a Tesla.
Teslas would be nice. I wonder how they handle out here in the heat. I was looking at buying one, and I was like,
there's a shitload of Teslas here.
There's a lot out here.
Yeah.
You know what? I wish they had a solar panel on the roof. Then I would never have to stop.
They do make them, but it's like an extra. I don't know how many thousands. It's an upgrade to get a solar panel roof. You could keep upgrading that shit to like $200,000 and you'll get like the craziest car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a lot of money.
That's so funny. They like the Model 3 starts at $29,000. It's like, bro, like, you don't get anything in it. You want like if you want a real Tesla,
it's end up being like
50, yeah,
50, 60.
Yeah, but then you look at like a Kia and it's like 30 grand, 40 grand. Like I was looking at a truck, it's like 100 grand.
But and then how much money you gonna save over time on gas? Like
absolutely. And the biggest thing too, I think, besides the gas, is also is all of the mechanical equipment, because you don't have oil changes.
Yeah.
You don't have like usually cars and the industry of cars, they make the most amount of their money on services. The service industry is the one that really makes the money. That's why you always see like Ford now will do a lube and oil place right next to it, because that's where their highest profit margin is.
Well, all the dealerships now they all have a service place, huh?
So that's where like a lot of the profits are made, as far as like the car industry and new cars, and then used cars. Obviously, they would love that too, because like you're gonna have to spend more money.
Yeah, to make sure and get it true. There's I think. Over 5 or 7 years, if you really drive more than like 25,000 miles a year, the car ends up being almost free when you take into account all the gas that you save and then all the oil changes and everything over like a 7-year period. So I know that Tesla's gonna be expensive, but you're gonna save $40,000 in gas over the next 10 years and shit.
Yeah.
And like, so it's like, and the car upgrades itself, which is super dope.
That's interesting. Just mentioning that is because I have seen actually is when they do like the upgrades or the updates, like they get higher mileage. You're like, what the like my Model 3 has like 10 more miles to the whatever gallon or whatever, lack of a better word, to the charge.
To the charge.
Yeah, 10 miles to the 10 more. But so every time they do a software update, the car gets better. So that's interesting to me.
It's more efficient.
In itself. Yeah, more efficient.
Like a computer, you know.
Like phones upgrade, your old car doesn't. You get a Nissan or whatever, it's not gonna upgrade.
Yeah.
Instead of like overnight or fixes issues, because everything's electric. So if it could detect that your windshield wiper's not working right or something, and it'll do like the people could log into your car overnight and fix the issue, and when you wake up, your car's fixed.
Amazing.
That is crazy.
That's insane.
What do you guys feel about like the rest of Elon Musk's plans and ideas, like the Cybertruck, and then also like his Vegas tunnel? Like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, you guys ride with Musk?
I think well, I've been around enough like kind of I think innovative people that it makes like it like none of the stuff he does is far fetched. It seems far fetched to like the average eye, but when you really like, if you're a business owner that has like you're involved in a lot of things, like. I met plenty of people that are invested in oil, and they also have like real estate that they rent, and they also have they might be a doctor as their profession, and so it's not far fetched to have a million different ideas. The guy obviously his innovative mindset it's needed because you need people to risk a lot in order to create new ideas and figure out the issues. So. You know, you want to learn off other people's mistakes, but who's gonna make those mistakes and who's willing to invest and make that mistake? You know, you need those people that are gonna make mistakes. So I mean, I've always liked how he's thought. I think it's amazing. Some of his stuff, he's become the face of it because people are always wondering who is it, and so his brand is directly attached to his face. It's gonna be really hard for him to detach himself as a person to that brand, to any of his brands, but he has a good staff. He has a good team. He just got that contract with NASA, so I mean the guy is hiring the right people. You know, I think he's onto something for sure. Anything that has to do with innovation, space exploration. I mean, look at the numbers. Like more people care about like, you know, other issues versus you see how much money the U.S. invests in space exploration. You wonder like that is a very important thing. It's billions important. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love seeing. I think the tunnel, I think all that, I think anything that, when we start going underground in general, I think it's a genius idea. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the tunnel and the Boring Company, everything. So he actually executes and he puts his name, his brand. He backs up everything. You know, it's like he made, I don't know, like $200 million from PayPal because he was one of the founders, and he invested.
People didn't even know.
He invested
a lot of people.
Most of it to Tesla, then a percentage to SpaceX, and a percentage to Solar City. Like, and he was broke again. Like, he made all this money. He's like, I'm gonna try to do this, and this, and the risk, because he's. I read his book back in like 2016, I think it was. He was like literally broke. Like, he was only about a month away from going bankrupt on Tesla, and one of the displays that they had to do, he didn't have enough money to actually build the car, so they got a BMW. And they only put the exterior parts of the Tesla. Dang. Just a display so people could see it for investors and all this stuff. And they literally assembled it like a week before the event was due, and like literally scrapped. And then from there he got like a loan in order to continue. And I think the company hasn't even been profitable yet until like this year was like, or 2020 was the first year. So the first like 15 years of the company, they were just losing money, and hope the investors buying in, believing in his future, but he made it happen. You know, that's crazy. Like a lot of people would have gave up by then.
That's the wild. That's the wildest shit to me, is to be like not profitable for years and years and just keep riding it out. Be like millions in debt and just like
Hopefully it works out.
we got it.
Well,
Yeah.
you just believe in it so much, you're like, it's gonna happen.
It's every restaurant in the world right there.
Jesus.
It's every business, like all the businesses, it's just cash flow. You know, you get money, but that money is going into the next project,
Yeah.
and it's just a cycle. You never see the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never see the money. It's just cash flow.
Once you accept that as like, okay, this business model, it's what it is. It's really, it's allowing basically for a set amount of cash or money to be used, but it doesn't mean that you can use it on this. It's not disposable income.
Yeah.
So you can't pull out the money and then throw it right back into throw it into something that's not going to make that whatever that business's money. So, you know, it's hard. People aren't willing to do something, especially in this day and age. People don't see, like, they want instant gratification. Like, I want to see money now, like ASAP. Well, there's not too many business models that give you money ASAP. If they exist, some of them are, and there's a lot of them are skeptical. And not skeptical in the fact that, like, obviously you can get money. There's stocks.
There's ways to get
Doge to the moon.
There's way you just throw your money and throw into meme coins and meme stocks,
you can
bro.
throw meme stocks if you want. You know, obviously, and there's
it works. Some people make money.
Some people do, but you know, if it's not like 7 figures, then you might want to like look more long term. Like if it's 5 figures, you probably want to go back to the drawing board and come up with something else, because that's only going to hold you down so long. And then if that money, and that's the same thing with even cryptocurrency, and the fact that, yeah, it's making money, but when you pull that money out, in a sense, you're dropping the worth of whatever your business, you can call it, or your wallet, your digital wallet, you're dropping the value of that. So does that make sense as a business owner?
You're dropping the value, and you're gonna spend it on other stuff that's instead of
not making money. So some people are like, you know, they pulled money out a couple years ago, bought some Lambos. Now they could have had, you know,
10 Lambos.
Instead of a Lambo, you should probably look at trying to get like an estate or something like that nature. Long term.
Yep, I've seen definitely in stock trading, cryptocurrency, whatever, it seems like the long term always ends up winning. You know, like if you just hold it, trust the process, hold it for even a couple years, man, it's a lot better than trying to.
I've learned the hard way on that, bro. Like
me too.
I was invested in Tesla back in like 2017, 2018, and I sold that shit.
Yeah.
And even Doge, bro. I made a video on YouTube 2018, 3 years ago. It's still up. I made like $2,000 on Dogecoin, swing trading it. Like, there was like some update that was gonna happen, and I just kind of rode the wave, and I made like 2 G's, and then I sold it, whatever. But right now, those 2 G's would have been like $200,000 if I just held it till today. When you look back, like, fuck, I should just kept that money.
And then you were going to pull it out, right?
Yeah, it's like I made $2,000 right now. Oh shit! Or I could have waited 3 years. It would have been $200,000. I would have been in Mexico.
Yeah. You would have been retired, you know.
Shit like that's like fuck, bro. It just pissed me off, but you learn from it though.
You do.
Yeah, I try to do a lot of swing trading now. It's just like just long term.
Long term, yeah.
And you could get loans on your crypto too. So there's a lot of those. I always see people like advertise these websites. You could like stake your. You could get it on based on how much cryptocurrency you have on either Ethereum, or they usually have maybe like the top 10. They don't have like every crypto, but you get a crypto backed loan based on what you have. They give you, if you really need the money, you know, like, because if you make good returns, but then you pull it out and then you kind of, what's the whole point, you know? If you really need that money, hopefully whatever you're investing is like money that you could lose, you know it's not going to be guaranteed. Yeah. But if you really need the money, instead of losing and selling your Bitcoin now, and that's going to be worth way more in 10 years, it's like, okay, let me get a little loan. Hopefully it gets me through the time while I readjust and then keep going. So that's something that I've been looking at too, because I don't want to pull out.
Also, there's cryptocurrencies like Tezos, for example, and I don't know the other ones, but there's a lot that give you appreciation per year. So even if you don't know shit about investing, if you just get into one of those, and I think Tezos is about 8%, you're gonna get 8% on what you invested per year, depending on what the dips are, or what it goes up or whatever. So let's say it does go up, and you get that 8% on top of that. Like that's like almost buying stocks that have dividends. Like if you don't know much, like just kind of do the higher reward, lower risk.
Yeah, and if you look at how early we still are in crypto, so you could do that. Like if you want to play safe, well, if you want to play the safest, it would be kind of like just buy Bitcoin and just hold. Like it's not gonna be, you're not gonna 10x in 1 year, but long term, you're not gonna suffer those huge drops, you know, because the altcoins do drop sometimes. But it's that, and then the other one would be doing those. Get 6%, 7%, 8% a year, and then once the bull market comes, then you'll be able to just reap the benefits. You know, it goes up crazy, and you're still getting rewards, and sometimes those rewards turn into more coins because the rewards they give you coins, so then your rewards kind of compound over time too.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's Bitcoin's a hard one because like some of the people that I'm close with that are probably the more wealthiest people that I know they're not that they're skeptical about it, but they laugh because it's not enough money that it makes. It's like you really gotta like find like, is that the right market, or is it real estate? You know, is it something different? Is it a service business that might 10x you, right? That's less overhead. Like there's just so many industries that are opening up right now. I was hearing this this podcast about how in the job industry in general we have a new wave of jobs that we don't know what they are. So they're being created every day, and with the changes that are occurring in just in the world at large, you're seeing jobs that haven't been developed or not they're fully developed yet, but the market, so you can't train people to know that market until it's actually happening. Mm-hmm. So and that's actually something that like occurred in the last 20 years. You know, people
find jobs in new industries.
Yeah, exactly. Like
way more tech.
So it's like what they what ended up happening was like the people that were working, like an example, like they're working in a car manufacturing
factory or something.
Yeah, factory. Those people, everything's becoming automated, so then that person needs to learn how to use the computers to manage the automation of the development of the vehicle, and then when those jobs are as those jobs get automated, the people that are servicing the building where the robots are. So it's like, but those jobs aren't created yet. They're not there yet. So how do you train a new industry of people to come in and do these jobs?
Yeah, just there's just so many new industries, especially too with social media, like social media marketing. All these people like that are taking advantage of. Everybody wants to be like an influencer or whatever. So it's like you make money by selling the shovels, like the gold rush. The people that made money were the ones selling the tools for people to go dig. So it's like social media marketing, social media managing of businesses. All those like businesses have been created, and a lot of people are making more money that way than trying to be like the 1% of influencers, because it's hard, especially if everyone's trying to do it at the same time. And then like the labor shortage too when it comes to construction. There's like no workers right now. Like we're seeing it, like I do granite and tile, but like painters, electricians, plumbers, it's everywhere, bro. Like there's not enough workers. Like, kids like 18, 20, they're not getting into those trades.
They're like, no, I'm gonna try my own.
No one's trying to do construction. So, and also like there's been a slow in immigration over the last like 20 years, ever since like 2001. Everything got harder for people to come here. That's where all the labor used to come. So now it's like you've seen it 20 years of slowly less people getting into the trades, and then less people coming here, immigrating for the trades. The only people immigrating are coming for tech jobs. The people coming, they're looking for those type of tech jobs. So the next 10 years, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wonder, like, kind of what you were saying. I just don't even know what. I wonder what's gonna be out there that we have no idea is gonna be out there. You know, like what career options, like what's the new big thing. You know, like because it's not gonna be just social media. You know, marketers or something like that. There's gotta be something out there that like everybody's missing. You know, there's gotta be something like that.
I'm totally think, bro, that talking about that, I think it's like the older I get, you know, this is like my 18th business I've done, I've made, and the older I get, I think the most basic things are what they're right in front of us are what people are just like, you know, not seeing like a great movie's Waterworld. You guys ever watch Waterworld?
Yeah.
Waterworld and
Yeah, I seen it.
and you know it's like when he goes up to trade, you know, he has that one like vial of dirt, and they're like, "Where'd you get that dirt?" You know, and he got it traded out for all these coins and bought a tomato plant. You know, I just think that like the most basic things are probably gonna be the most valuable things.
Yeah.
Like the most basic towards like human nature.
The most basic things that we need as humans, water, for example. You know, if I was ever to get into crypto, I have crypto. I don't even talk. I think I don't even probably 20,000 in it. I don't even talk about it. But I can tell you that like if I ever was to back something, I'd be like back bottled water. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I want the water
needs,
coin. Yeah, I want the. You know what I mean? Because it's like we don't talk about that, or even like, you know, soil. You know, soil that can grow, good soil. It's just stuff we take for granted. Like right now, one of the things that I'm working on implementing in the shop here is we're gonna start. We're getting everything worked up, do the recycling, but then on top of that, we're gonna do composting. So we're gonna be one of the first restaurants in the valley to compost, and I just see it as such a valuable thing. You know, how do we help as whatever we're doing? How do we help? Because everything's tech. We're all on computers, but where are we getting this energy from? Where are we getting this power from? We're getting it from, you know, maybe not the most efficient way of generating energy. So how do we become better? Do we get more efficient equipment that won't, you know? Because I know that a lot of the stuff in tech involves a lot of utilizing power. You know, even in the marijuana industry, you know, I think it's become so monopolized that we see these industries come in and actually cause so much harm to that area because, you know, and we don't look at it like, it doesn't like spark the attention of a lot of people, but, you know, if you go in and you put a place that's going to use a lot of power, such as a growing facility, everybody around that, all those neighborhoods around it get severely affected by the amount of power that one you know, it's almost like a parasitic plant. You know, you put a parasitic plant in
destroys the rest.
It destroys the rest of them because it's gonna take all the nutrients, it's gonna take all the power, it's gonna take all the juice from all the other plants that are around it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we're just so focused sometimes on the really like niche stuff that we don't see the bigger picture. And it's like, how do we make those industries a little better for where we're around, and stop looking at everything so short term, like quick cash, quick this, and, you know, how do we make it just better in general long term, you know? That's like my hippie side kicking in, you know, like that. I think we need to see those things as we're all making money, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that's a lot of, I don't know, successful businesses, I feel like, and start that way where it's like, how do we help? And like, it's like a passion. It starts as a passion project, and that's how you almost have to be. You can't just, I don't know, a successful business for me, a lot of the time it's hard. I don't see that happening with people that are just trying to make quick cash, you know? You have to really be into it and be willing to give back to the community or show that you're, you know, like the customer's going to get something out of it, not just you're just taking money from them or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, bro.
It's you do when it comes to business, it's like you gotta show. You can't just quit. You know, you have to just show up. And like a lot of people depend on you. So either the customer depends on you, depends on what you do, and if you have employees, like if you don't put in the work or show up, and these people aren't eating, their families are affected, and you know they gotta pay bills, and it's like it's just I don't see how you quit, and I don't know. It's just I just don't see it, or I don't know how people do it.
Yeah. What I kind of like how you're saying you've done 18 businesses so far. You've built 18 businesses. That's kind of something that people should look at as well. Is that you don't have to make $10 million off of one thing. Like you can build a couple things. You can, or if the first one doesn't make you 10 million, you could move on to another business and you could try something else. You know, like you're not stuck in one area. You can always evolve. You can always kind of adjust and adapt and build multiple eggs. You know, not just have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way of putting it. You know, we definitely have multiple sources of income. Don't put all your money in one thing. You know, make sure that you have different sources of income. Like, you know, I love how like when I saw you do your pop-up, you had not just the pops, you also had cards, and then you had very specific type cards, and you were like, you have that whole industry of actually rating the cards and making more money off of that. That's almost the way that you need to think in general. Like, you know, if you're gonna run, Angel runs his tile business, right? But he uses this he has a podcast studio, but then he's also able to like utilize the same space to help grow his tile business. So he doesn't just like have one thing and does that one thing. He knows how to use that same resource for multiple things. Like how can I have this one space? You had one table, but if you look at that one table, you really had about 4 or 5 different sources of income out of that one table. You know, so. And on top of that, you were still promoting your 100 podcasts. So,
Yes, yeah.
So it's like, I think a lot of people don't see it like that. Like we all see it like it's normal. Like it's normal to have 5 different ways of making money, but not everybody thinks like that.
Yeah, a lot of people work that 9 to 5.
A lot of people work that 9 to 5,
and just that.
And a lot of people told me that, and some people don't even want to get a job. They told me I don't want to get a job. I don't. I heard that the other day. So a 9 to 5 isn't for me. I'm like, yeah, but you want to have a source of income, whether it be a 9 to 5 and you look at reinvesting that 9 to 5 money, or whether it be a 9 to 5 that you're the boss, you're the owner, and you develop a real functional business.
Yes, yeah.
Like right now, I know so many friends that don't have a full business that lost out on getting some help from the government when they were giving out grants. Right now was the perfect time for a small business to run those numbers, and you know it's so basic. It seems so basic, but if I can give advice to anybody about making money, you know, one, structure your business. You know, don't worry about somebody taking your name or blah blah. Just structure your business. People are gonna take your name if they want to, and you're gonna have the money to sue them. So don't even talk about that unless you know. Don't even and like my fiance is an attorney and I would never bother her with something like that. So, 2, you know, open up a business bank account. Angel will vouch. How important is a business bank account?
Yeah, it just changes everything.
Absolutely.
Because your money.
I think I need to open one.
There's
That's
like
a big deal.
there's so many expenses, like everyday expenses, that you just lose track. Like doesn't matter if you're transferring money, balancing back and forth. Oh, that was for business, this is for this. It's just too much. Like you end up like mixing your own money. Sometimes you take into your own like personal income because you get lost, and then you don't. I don't know. It just gets confusing. So you have to change that. And when you're doing payroll and buying business expenses, you could pretty much write off a bunch of stuff that you're not able to do with your personal account, and that's the only way to grow, in my opinion. Like with a business account, you can't grow if you don't separate the two. If it's just running as one.
And what do you?
Because you gotta show all those numbers.
You should.
Yeah.
You should show your real numbers. Like never assume that you're making X Y Z. You need number. They always say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, and that I think is pretty true to its statement. I think that it makes it life a lot easier. So when you have a set amount, you say, hey, I'm gonna invest this. I'm gonna throw it in this, and you throw it in this bank account, then you're kind of set to that. Like, okay, is this money growing, or did I just get a paycheck and it appears like I'm making money? You know, like in your mind, you made money, but you really just got paid. You know, and you're really tracking your losses. It's okay to have losses. In fact, you the IRS assumes that you're gonna take a loss for the first average 3 years of any business you start. That you're gonna be pulling from your 9 to 5 to make this thing grow. So, get an employer identification number, an EIN, because what that does is it'll allow you to hire people. It'll allow you to create a business account, and with that, it costs no money to start. So many people that I know do cash sales. Everything's cash, and they don't ever track their thing, and they've been doing it for 5-10 years. If you had 5 to 10 years of tracking numbers, even if they were poor numbers, bad numbers, they're numbers, and they show that you've been in business for that amount of time. It's when you don't have numbers to show that makes it so difficult to even, if you finally find the building you want to buy that thing.
You have no proof.
You have no proof. And if you're going to buy a car, you're like, I'm going to buy a brand new car. It's like, what are you going to use that car? Well, I'm going to use it to drive around and do my business. Well, then pull that out of your business, do that as a business expense. Because then you can write off the miles, you can write off the, all that shit, all that stuff adds up. And when when you have to do taxes at the end of the year, because the one person that wins every year is the IRS. They win without a doubt, bro. They have the best job ever. They just say, here's what you owe, So, if you can, keep your numbers in order for, I think that is my, ultimate advice for people that really want to make money in general. I think that's what I've learned is let people get the bank account, get all that stuff in order.
Keep track of the numbers.
What do you advise you have for people who, I don't know, it's like they don't want to put in the work for the job, that's their dream, that's their goal, but they still have the 9 to 5 mentality. Like, oh, okay, I already worked in my business for 6 hours or whatever, I'm done. And how do you break through them?
How do you break through that?
I don't know. How do you?
A lot of times you guys said it. You guys were like Elon Musk. You guys right away. That's find somebody that you look up to. They don't have to be business mentors like Ty Lopez always talks about, business mentors, and his mentor is this, and how he grew up on that farm with not the Mormons. He grew up on a.
What were those people in Philadelphia, right? Those.
Yeah, I can't remember, but nonetheless.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think look at a mentor and be like, is it
Amish?
Amish, that's right. Is this your goal to make money? Because your goal should never just be to make money. Because life is so short, bro. I mean, I just went through that kidney thing with my dad. I'm saying right now, bro, money don't matter, dog. I mean, that is just the saddest way of looking at stuff. Is all I care about is money, and all I care about is, or even the same thing. If you're just all I care about is the community, it's there needs to be a balance. You got to care about yourself. Number one, you got to care about yourself, whether you have religious beliefs or not. You got to care about yourself. You know what I mean? Because without caring about yourself, you go out, you get up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
You go to the gym.
You go to the gym.
So you can take care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
It helps your mentality is in a better place. You get up early to start getting your day organized.
Mm-hmm.
I think prioritize your day and make sure that you understand that we only have X amount of time on this earth. That's one thing that's for sure. We all have an end. So the earlier you get up, the better sleep you get, and it's going to give you a lot more energy to focus on your business or focus on yourself, before you can take care of others. Because it's hard to take care of others when you can't take care of yourself. So, how do you stay motivated? You got to be around people that are better than you at certain things. Because it's not going to be one individual. I may have to hang around certain people that are good at going to the gym because they're gonna keep me fit, and then I might need to be around people that are good at construction because they're gonna keep my mind in real estate development and the real ins and outs of it. And I might need to have a lot of different people around me, but definitely steer clear. I think if you you steer clear of negative energy, negative people, you're gonna have just a better life in general. You know, don't take everything too serious either. You know, like people take little things too serious and then they focus on that one little thing that got them upset. Life is so short, you shouldn't worry about one little thing, even if it's like bankruptcy. You know what I mean? I know certain people, and I'm sure other people know them too, that have been bankrupt a number of times, and they were politically successful at some point or another in their life. You know, like,
successful.
So, you know, how do you can't let little things like that even bother. Money don't matter, bro. So, because at the end, dude, people, you know, you gotta take care of yourself. Don't eat fast food is fast life, man. That's for sure.
I just, the only thing I'd add to that too as well is I think a lot of people know what they need to do. You know, like a lot of people know what they should do if they want to be, you know, where they want to pursue that dream or whatever it is. And it's hard, man. That's why there's only like the 1%. The 1% that actually make it and are really like doing it is because it's not just that dream. It's not just the hanging out and the $1 million and the mansion. It's all the grind up to that people miss. You know, it's like the Kevin Hart before Kevin Hart. You know, it's all that, all the work. Going like Kevin Hart, for example, going to like little clubs or whatever and just grinding day in and day out. And
yeah, he came out, I saw him in Fat Joe's music video, and like he was doing like those scary movie roles where he was there for like 5 minutes, and now he's owns like a media company and just one of the biggest dudes.
Yeah.
And it is just putting in the work. And I like do you guys see Kevin Hart and Joe Rogan's podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
He on that one just blew.
That's one of my favorite
That's one of the best podcasts. Like this dude just, why not? When he was talking about, someone asked him, why do you have an underwear under your name, and why you have a perfume, and why you have this business, and why you have a media company, and why are you doing comedy, and why are you doing movies? It's like, why not?
Yeah.
Why can't I be the first person to do this business, and why can't I do this business at the same time? Why can't I do public speaking here? Why can't I star in 7 movies a year? Why can't I, you know, like, why not? Like, what's stopping you? Like, you have one life, and he's just maximizing and doing everything he can, because why not? Why not do it? And if that's something you're into too, if you're not into it, if you're just like, I want to work 8 hours and play video games the rest of the day, do nothing, like,
exactly.
People like that
it's
too.
What you're into. If that's what you're into,
yeah.
You don't have to be the guy that's going the next level, you know?
You don't have to be, absolutely not. But expect that those are going to be the results.
Facts.
Expect those are going to be your results. If I know...
don't complain about the results.
Complain about the results. Do not complain about the results. And that's funny because the same people you tell don't complain, they're going to complain about no matter what. Like, you know, the sky's blue. Why is it blue? It should be red. It should whatever, bro. It's like...
I hate negative people. Negative people are the worst.
Yeah. Just cut that out right away. That's my advice. Cut that right out and focus on yourself and your family and your whatever you're invested in. You know? If it's crypto, take it serious. You know, don't brag about what you're making. Don't brag about how much money you make. You know, let's see it. Let's see the numbers. Show the real estate. Show the, you know, or maybe if you don't even want that, if you don't believe in real estate, because a lot of people that are really into crypto don't believe in physical things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's
Those are
crazy.
the real ones. The ones that have the $20 million, whatever, I don't even know, billions of dollars. And like,
there's billions.
They don't even want to own a car. I actually, personally, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even own a car. But nonetheless, but I borrow my girl's car. But it's because I have work trucks. Like, I don't even need a car. But, and I know you're the same way.
I don't own a car either.
Yeah.
Bro, all I wear is like gear. I wear shirts people give me. I have like shirts people give me. The only thing I do buy is jerseys. I'm not like, I love jerseys. I love sports.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't buy myself clothes. Like all my shit, I buy at Walmart. Shoes, whatever. I don't care about shoes or cars. But I'm also, my thing is like experiences, like going to concerts, going to comedy. Like I like to spend my money that way.
It's more important for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than like some nice shoes or a nice car. Like my car could be beat up, but I'm gonna go to whenever there's concerts back in the day. I used to go to concerts and theme parks.
I'm gonna have a good time, bro.
Yeah.
Have a good time driving your car. I'm gonna go.
Exactly.
I do want to get a Cybertruck though. I pre-ordered it. Cybertruck. It looks kind of weird, or
You
some
just
people.
not fuck with it. I'm right.
But
You already got
I
it.
remember since because I always wanted to get a cyber truck because we need trucks for business, and then this one's it's stronger than a F-150, better mileage. It actually costs less. Like
When's it coming?
it's supposed to come out this fall season. It's supposed to. I don't know if they're still on track. I don't know. I haven't checked.
That's
It was $100 to pre-order, and I haven't gotten no email like afterwards any updates. So we'll see.
You're like, whatever.
I stole like the whole thing. I only paid $100, so hopefully there's a glitch in the system. They're like,
It's like, oh, it's already paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I love it, man. I even like this. Thank you, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is cool, man. I know I've been flaking out like crazy with.
No, you're good. No, this is it's whenever
But you're
when it's
really
time.
not. You're not flaking because I see you on the weekends. You know, you're working, bro. You still let me come over here and sell my shit here. So you're.
And he's got another business. It's like this is a side hustle, like a whole ass community restaurant's a side hustle.
Yeah, that is true. That is literally my side hustle.
One of his 10 side hustles that he's doing at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Angel like starts hearing like, what did you do now?
Like this just crazy. Like he's always like, oh, I'm doing this now, and I'm gonna change this thing, and I'm gonna sell this, and this is gonna be my plan, and I'm gonna do this, and then like a month later, he's actually doing it. That's something I like about this dude. Like he'll be like, oh, I'm gonna open this, or I'm gonna do this with like my restaurant, and then 2 months later, you see him, he's building the thing. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. A lot of people. That's a big thing. That's just do it. You know, like a lot of people just don't do it. Like they talk about an idea, they have a plan, they write all this shit out, they like study. They're looking at it, but they just never do it. You know?
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. Even though I get busy with stuff, a lot of times too, I make plans and like, oh, I'm gonna do this for mostly for YouTube. I don't know why. Like when Coachella, because I used to make a lot of videos about Coachella, and that's how I grew my audience.
I fanboyed out a little bit looking at your Instagram. I checked your YouTube and checked it, and I was like, dude, 1 million+ views. Like this fool's a real. He's a real YouTuber.
His videos are good too.
It was just I put all my eggs in one basket where it was like all Coachella content, and then pandemic happened. Yeah. So there's no interest in Coachella for 2 years, so my channel just died.
But now it's gonna like grow like crazy.
But I have the infrastructure. I have the infrastructure. When that shit comes back, it's there. So I'm just being patient long term. But in the meantime, I was doing the thing that we're talking about. Like I would write out like, okay, since I'm gonna make videos about videography and do this and do all these reviews, and I never got to it. Like I made so many plans. Like that happens to me more on the creative side. I don't know when because I don't know if I'm like I don't know.
It's just a lot of work. Like the creative side, like it's like to get down to it. Also, like you're gonna have to edit those videos. Like so, not only just the recording. It's like I gotta fucking clip these together, and I gotta like make sure it's worth the YouTube.
I'm trying to get it like the thing is like a team or work with other people. Because for the most part, it's been by myself, and I'm pretty sure you too. You were talking about you're gonna have to edit your videos. Like that's the worst. Like the fun part is just the podcast, talking to people, creating conversations.
Exactly.
That's like, all right, post-production. Yeah. Post-production, another 2 hours, you know, it's like...
that's how it is, though. You know, all that, the coolest things that occur, that you have to involve stuff that's meticulous and you know, how do you find fun in that stuff that's meticulous?
Yeah.
You know? Is it fun? You know, and if it's worth at the end of the day, it's worth editing, then you keep going, you know? And you're like, all right, I'm going to knock this out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to whatever. And I think once you get over the fact that there's boring stuff in a business that you're going to have to do.
In every business.
You do, no matter
every
what.
single business.
You can think like, yo, I want to work for the Lakers. And, you know, I want to be right there with them. It's like, yeah, but... You know, you're going to have to go there and you're going to have to make sure that the benches are clean, the seats are clean, and this and
logistics, make sure they have all their gear. And
Coachella's a great example. The festival itself, there is so much. We're there inspecting 3 to 6 months before the festival. We're inspecting all the stuff going in. And I know for a fact, you know, millions and millions of dollars go underground. You never even see it. Just the wires, just to make sure that you have cellular data on your phone. The amount of money that they put in just so you have that is like you'll never see that because it's all underground, right? All the plumbing that they have to do for restrooms. Oh yeah, you will never go to Coachella, but you got to go to the restroom, and how do they keep those restrooms clean? You know, how do they manage, you know, hundreds of thousands of people at once and make sure everybody's comfortable? You know, how do they keep that grass alive? You know, into that all that stomping around.
The art structures and everything they have to build, like those amazing arts, they got to be inspected.
They got to be inspected. They have to be safe. Make sure it doesn't, you know, hurt somebody.
Collapse on someone.
There's just so much that goes into fun stuff.
Yep.
You know?
Do you work for the city? Do you have any scoops about Coachella 2020 in October?
I can either confirm or deny. My attorney taught me that statement.
So no Coachella in October? You don't know yet?
I can either confirm. But I mean, I think in
general, your opinion, not as an inside source, but it's your opinion.
In my opinion, I think once we see a full opening once we all see a full opening of the world, I would say, you know, we're gonna see investors be more open to dumping their money into things such as a festival. But I think there's still a lot of skepticism until they fully see it open, because the downfall is something else occurs and we're back into, I don't even know the color tiers anymore. I feel like it's just a rainbow of tiers. I don't even know what tier, what color, and what it signifies. I don't even know anymore.
We're in purple or something.
I just wear a mask and glasses everywhere I go because I don't want to get, you know, spit in my eye. Cause I don't even know, bro, anymore. So, what it was the tier? I don't know. But I think that once we say, hey, there's no more tiers, there will literally be no more like tiers. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's like that is affecting a lot of investors in general wanting to invest into things such as a festival, right?
Yeah.
You know, so they're waiting to see that full opening, and they'll be like, all right.
And then, like right now, if it was like a regular Coachella, how do you ever get like any inspections done? Like you said, 6, because right now we're about 6 months from October. I don't even know. I can't even do math. Yeah, 6 months from now. So right now, would there be any like, oh, this is maybe in the works or nothing?
They're always upgrading that whole facility. It's a huge compound. So they're throughout the year, they're nonstop always upgrading and fixing. Like Mr. Hagen's always investing in his property, and everybody else around that owns the property around there's also dumping money and making it try to look beautiful, you know. Because you drive by that thing, it's a beautiful compound. You see all the white walls year round. You know, and then they maintain the tavern, they maintain the Polo Pizza and the La Cantina and all that. They have to maintain all that. Because that stuff's still popular, you know, people still want to go out and eat.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, in general, you usually see, like, out-of-town sort of resources come through. You know, I think, like, a couple years ago, I saw trailers of porta potties, bro. I think I have videos of it. It was just trailers of porta potties. I was like, that is phenomenal. Like, you know, where do these porta potties come from? You know, like, we don't even think about that. Like, you know, like, where are all these porta potties
The water, I remember the water bottles, because I was going to work security one year when I used to play football at COD. They had us, like, all the football players during spring ball. They sit us down, like, oh, who wants to work Coachella? Like, so all the, like, top guys that are in the front row of the main stage, they're all, like, football players. Because it's people from out of state that come play football here. And they, that's, like, where they make their money. And the coaches have kind of, like, a deal with the security at Coachella. So, like, you always have, like, over 100 guards that play football. And they had one of those, like, tents just for the guards, one of those, like, little dome things. And it was, like, I want to say, like, 20 pallets of waters that they just had stacked there for security guards, for people's staff, to have every speaker. Like, every speaker has water. Every behind the stage they have water. You know, there's water everywhere. And even though you could buy water inside, if you ask them, sometimes they give you water, like the people working the booths or the Q&A kiosks and all that stuff, because it's water and it's 100 degrees outside, and all these people dehydrate before the festival even begins. So you just gotta make sure you stay hydrated. So pallets and pallets of water that are not free. You know, they had to be bought, delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think once we see everything open, we'll see those investors come in and actually keep.
Wait, so Coachella in October?
You know, now I'm gonna say this. It would be nice. It would be a nice break from you know, even just a festival in general would be nice. It would be a nice break. You know, I know people would go to the fair, right? That was a little kind of.
Oh, no fair for the first time ever.
Right? Fair.
Damn.
People love the fair out here on the east side. I remember I'd go in there. I always get the cinnamon roll. There's this. I don't know if you've gone in there and gotten the cinnamon roll.
Yeah, there's always a big old line for the cinnamon roll.
That's right. That cinnamon roll. I mean, that
It's
is.
just the fair one. Just
I think so. Yeah, bro.
Get you
Yeah.
fit, bro. We're gonna get you a cinnamon.
Nah, dude. I gotta stay away from that. The fair. I feel like that was like an every year occurrence. You know, at least go once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the roller or the derby, the car derby, where they smash each other's cars.
Dude, my kids love those, going out there and watching the car derby, or even like the racing, the dirt bikes, the little dirt
They
bikes.
did that. I remember I went. What was it 2 years ago? No, last year.
A year and a half,
Year and
or
a half ago.
2019.
And I saw me and my girl went. We saw there was the pig races.
Oh,
and
shit.
And they all had them named after celebrities. Little
Wow.
pigs. Yeah. It was like I remember like. Yeah, I remember. It was like Paris Hilton one and this and that. It's hilarious, dude. So yeah, I mean, I miss that kind of stuff. That's cool. That's cool too.
It's those community events that we take for granted. Like you never expect the fair not to be there or anything.
Tamale Festival.
Tamale Festival. Well, all the festivals are canceled.
I still remember I went to LA, like beginning, even before there was any shutdowns, and I went to the Comedy Store. Have you guys ever heard of the Comedy Store?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there and they were having a show, and like probably 3 or 4 of the comedians were talking shit about like Corona, like where's this Corona at, you know? And then right after that, like 2 weeks later,
Boom.
we're shut down, and like it never ended,
Laugh
you know?
Factory too, you know.
I've never been to Laugh Factory.
There's a kid that's out here that does a little comedy. We're working on trying to do a comedy thing here at the park.
Man, that would be legit.
Yeah, we're working on something right now, but
That's
I
cool.
love that, bro. You know, the comedy stuff is awesome.
There should be a comedy
Even
club.
some open mics or something.
There should be a comedy club here.
We're working on it. You know, I mean,
One
it's
of
a
your
start,
1,000
you know,
ideas.
Shit, dude, if you're working on it, you already talked about it, you should hurry up and get it going, bro. It's about to be on a
We have a
podcast.
lineup for it. We do have a lineup for it. So I mean, it's just like I miss that kind of stuff. You know, I think everybody does.
Yeah, sports. I miss sports, like going to sporting events,
Fuck. dude.
football,
Tell me about it.
even baseball games, whatever. You know, just hanging out with other people and the energy in the stadium. Like when it's like a critical third down or whatever, your football game or soccer, whatever. It's just the best.
It is. It's awesome that we really have realized how much, you know, as much as you say I don't like people, it's like this taught us like, yeah, you need to be around people.
Yeah.
You know, especially your family. A lot of people hadn't seen their family.
Oh, that too.
Right? Because they're like, oh, I can't because I have elderly people in the family. And those are the ones that you want to see the most. You know, like, you want to spend time with them. Cause,
Exactly. Well, that's the less you have, the least amount of time with them.
Exactly, bro. So it's, I think the one thing that I heard about us opening the park here wasn't even about the food. The main thing was everybody says they love the fact that they're around other people and they're outside and they're like they feel so different being around people. It's amazing. It's like that's like the number one thing. I'm like, well, how was the food? Was it all right? Like, did you like the food? It's a food park, you know. But yeah, it just goes to show people are really needing to be around other people.
Just like music too, just when you have all these performers, like genres, even music that you might not be into, just seeing people play instruments live. Like it's been a year, you know, like just hearing people sing and play and
It's nice,
just
bro.
community. The community is the best part of the community.
Yeah.
The food, like you said, yeah, it's a food park, but it's like people want the community, especially now. Like there's nothing open, you know, there's no distractions. You want to have fun. Well, I have to travel 40 minutes to Palm Springs too. That's huge.
Facts,
That's
bro.
like the biggest thing for me. Like when you told me the idea of this, I was like, this is perfect. This is literally what they've been needing here for 15 years.
Yeah, and you, that's why I like being, like, even just talking to you, Eric, just being around you, bro, is because, like, you're kind of changing the community, you know? Like, I feel like you just are very positive and, like, you're just very supportive of any business, any artist, anybody that's trying to do their own thing, and it's kind of changing the whole valley. It's making people more just community-oriented and kind of helping support the small business community as a whole in the valley. And I appreciate it. It definitely is helping us out.
Oh man, I'm down to support all you guys for sure. And then I think podcasting is super hard. I honestly, the only YouTube videos I have up are the ones that Angels made. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's really hard as I create content to capture that content.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's so hard for me because as you start up, you know, you're so short staffed. Like, you know, if you want to run a pop-up, you're the one that has to be there.
Exactly.
You're not paying someone to be there. Like, that's what a small business is my face is there because I have to be there because I don't have the money
to hire somebody.
You know, like, but at some point you start slowly, you know, you have to start slowly stepping out of that. And that's why I love small businesses, because I like seeing everybody take it to the next step. If they're willing to take it to the next step. Like you, I expect, I you know, after this, I'm like, I'm going to be stoked when you come to me and you're like, dude, I opened up a business bank account. I'm going to be like, that's the biggest thing that you could ever shown me or anybody, is that you took that step, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, I actually did it, dude. It took half an hour, whatever. Sometimes it's just the mind blocks you, and it's like, oh, it's so much stuff. Like, I can't do my taxes, it's just so much crap. But really, it's just like 2 or 3 hours of stuff. It's not what you think. It's like the gym is not 10 hours of gym. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, 30, 45 minutes you burn on watching, you know, Angel talk about Coachella.
It's weird how much you feel better after you do it, you know? Like, let's say the taxes, for example. Once you're done, you're like, I'm done. You know, like, you're all relaxed and you're like,
yeah.
It's a weight off your shoulders with it. Those tasks, like, even just for businesses, like, oh man, I gotta do this paperwork, and it's like you don't want to do it, and it's just annoying. But it's like, fuck, all right. An hour, it might only take you an hour, but your brain's telling you that's like so difficult to even just sit down and pull in front of you and put all the materials, and you're just like, all right, fuck, I gotta do it.
It's a mind block. Yeah.
When you do it, it just feels so good. Like, it's like one of the finishing off the task, bro.
That goes back to editing a video. Like, editing a video, it's so shitty while you're doing it, and then when you're done, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this. I put this whole video together. You know,
so
like,
cool. It's so cool, man.
So weird.
Do you, on your podcast, do you also post like the audio version?
Yeah, I have audio on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
All good stuff.
So you guys are both on Spotify, huh?
I'm pretty. You have your podcast. It's Angel Chavez podcast.
Angel Chavez show. Yeah.
Angel Chavez show.
That to me is just phenomenal, guys. Honestly, like that I'm like, yeah, I'm not a podcast guy, you know, but I can tell you that is impressive to be able to get on platforms. You know, right now we're just like, you go through that grind of actually getting on a platform. I'm telling you guys, you're already 10 steps ahead of everybody else saying, I'm going to have a better podcast than these guys. So yeah, well then do it. You know, get it out there. Put it out there. Ain't nobody stopping you. Put it out there. Get the content out there. But you see that grind is what sets you guys apart from everybody else. It's all talk. It's the same thing.
Shit, bro. What's crazy is how easy it is to get it on those platforms, you know? Like, it's not even... People think it's hard, and then you do some research, and you're like...
It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's like not even...
The post-production we're talking about, so it's like you do a podcast, and then you edit, so upload to YouTube, upload to... Usually a distribution sends it to all the platforms. It's pretty simple. But yeah, it does take extra steps. And like you said, it's like you don't want to do those steps, or it's hard for people to even begin with their phone. You know, like you said, just everybody's got a dope phone now. It's 2021. Any phone you have is going to take 1080p at least. You know, that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Even audio too. A lot of people, if they don't want to be in front of video, podcast is just literally supposed to be audio.
Exactly.
So video podcast is just like a whole different section of it. So if you just want to do audio and tell stories or niche down, that would be the fastest way to grow, is niching down.
Especially if you're doing audio too, you'd have to have like something that's like...
But it just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of the motivational podcasts. And it's crazy, like my Spotify is just so wacko, bro. It's like I have so many different things that and I think that's why my mind is just so open to ideas, but because like I'll have like Joe Rogan podcast, and then I'll have, you know, motivational quotes that like one that's like, I think it's like a 10-second quote thing that they'll knock out. So then, and I always have it like on mix, so I get like this, and all of a sudden I'll get Selena, and then all of a sudden I'll get Mills. Mills came up on my Spotify the other day as one of my like
Just random mixes.
One of my mixes for that day.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mills. It was like I think I had like Ducanes and then Nipsey Hussle and then Mills came on. So you're like a top tier right there, brother. I mean seriously. So yeah.
Is he from the Valley?
I think so. I think he's an out of towner. He might even be an alien, bro. You know? I don't think he's even from the earth.
Yeah, that dude's he's definitely an alien.
He is an alien. He performed out here.
The first Sunday, I think. Yeah, he just posted the video.
I don't know. I thought
the first
like,
the performance.
It was like he did the Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, he's he wants to perform again. Well, I don't know about here because you got too many. You got your lineup set up for the next 2 years. All these artists.
Damn, dude.
There's this guy like every weekend. Like I come and there's like a cool ass band and there's like people just dancing and it's just like damn. And then DJs with like special DJs that have been played Coachella are playing here at the food park, bro. Like this got everybody.
I know, and it's so many different genres. Like just on past Sunday, the chick was playing like R&B.
Yeah,
amazing,
right?
The dude was they're both killing it, bro. Yeah, they both were killing it.
So talented, bro.
Yeah, and she was good, and the guy might have even been more talented, like the guy on the keyboard behind her, bro. Like yeah,
like this weekend right here. This weekend we have Friday, we have a banda. Then Saturday we have a bike show with the Blockheads, and then we have Crucial Culture, which is a reggae band at night. And then Sunday we have Daytime Moon Band, which is this is awesome because I love Blink-182 with that like Blink-182 cover.
Are you bringing them?
Yeah,
is that the one you showed me?
They climb the tree and stuff. Yeah,
okay.
Back.
All right, cool.
And so it's like that is kind of where my mind is. People are like, man, you're so open. Like I get that comment and you bring in everybody, but I'm like, that's like the kind of music that I listen is just so weird.
Just everything. Just give everything a chance.
Yeah, we even had spoken word. We had a friend of ours do spoken word one night. We did a women's month. We gave the whole month. So that whole month every weekend we brought female artists.
Okay.
Every weekend, and so. Like hopefully soon Mother Day's coming up, right? I want to do something cool for the mothers. I want to do something for like veterans, the senior community. I want to do something cool, something that they're gonna like, So I'm trying to touch a little bit of everybody, so that everybody gets at least
to experience and something that they're into, There's different crowds every day too.
Maybe we could do a podcast meetup, here. Everybody does podcast come down,
That's true.
Everybody chat, like a networking or whatever,
Do you know any other podcasts here in the Valley?
I do actually. There's these two women. One's like J Minx Fitness, and the other one I forgot what her name is on Instagram. Her name's Danielle or something like that. But they were on my podcast, and I told them to start a podcast together, and then kind of talked them through the steps, and they started a podcast, and they've had like a pretty big podcaster on theirs already, like because one's a pro bodybuilder and the other one's like pretty close, so they already have like a good network and they're good together as like a team. So like them, and then I don't know what happened with Pete, but Pete from Flat Black, he had a podcast. I helped him out starting his podcast out. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was doing that for a little bit. But yeah, besides them, that's about it for the most part. Yeah.
Well, I think it's good to reach out to ones that have been doing it. Even from out of town, bring them down. We've had people from LA, San Diego come down over the last since we opened, a couple months. So I think that people are open to driving down to the Valley.
Yeah, well, people are coming either way. We've been super busy.
I think LA, dude, is on its LA isn't that nice at the moment. Have you taken a trip down to LA?
I have, bro, and I'm right there with you.
I've gone a few times.
I think I always go to LA, even San Diego, anything just west of Beaumont, and I am so thankful for where we live. Every time, bro. I don't
traffic or what?
Yes, that and just like. I feel like there's just a lack of when I say community, I'm not talking about like I'm handing out flowers and kissing babies. I'm talking about like just people in general gathering, right? So you go out there, it's like there's a lack of that. as much as it seems like they're doing things, no one there knows each other whatsoever.
It's very touristy.
It's super touristy. It's even more touristy than you could ever imagine, you know. But which is nothing against tourism, but here, you roll up and you'll not like. There's just people from the grocery store that that check you out to, you know, people that work at the hardware store, people that do your insurance show up.
Yeah, you run, you know everybody here, or you run into somebody here at the mall. You run into them. You run here at the park. You haven't seen people. Like, it's just such a small.
Yeah.
It's big, but it's like everything's kind of connected.
Still has
here.
that small town feel. Yeah.
It has a small town feel. You know people, and you've heard of people, and like you said, LA. You don't know.
Shit, man, and I'm from Blythe, and this sometimes feels too big for me. Like sometimes this is like a little annoying, you know.
That is awesome,
like,
dude. Yeah, that is cool that you're from Blythe.
Yeah,
Blythe
bro.
is a cool spot.
Blythe is cool. It's definitely small town, you know. So I have that. I don't know, that small town vibes with me, you know. Like you just know everybody, kind of like. You'd give people the shirt off your back just because you know the whole community. You know everybody, so.
But it's like we have a mix of both here because it's small and you know everybody and has the small community feel. But it's also a huge tourist attraction. Like thousands of people every year come here just to Palm Springs, the festivals, golfing, like all the golf resorts.
Shit, Joshua Tree's
Joshua Tree, like, and then especially now with COVID, everybody's like leaving LA, leaving San Diego, leaving Orange County. People are coming. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I could work remotely from here, better weather, no traffic, and get away from all the chaos from the big city.
I really think it's gonna explode this area, like people wise, like just expand, and then also like Yucca, like Joshua Tree, that area. I think that's gonna explode as well, man. I think people are gonna move over there because they want more space, especially after Corona. They're like, you know, they want their 6 foot distance and all that, and you get to those areas, you're gonna have that for a little while, and then it's gonna get packed up, and it's gonna turn into like city type life, and
the traffic's already feeling like it's dude.
Yes.
It's crazy. The freeways like slow down on Monterey now, like crazy from Cook to Monterey. Like you gotta slow down. The freeway. I used to take the freeway to go to COD when I used to go to school, and it was always empty. Like there was no traffic, you know. No. Boom, now it's crazy.
Yeah, there's traffic. There's traffic everywhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? And even you go into Costco or Sam's Club, there's a line.
Yeah.
You know, you're like seeing it. You're like, there's people here. You know, leave. And I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
And then just more communities being built too. More communities, more apartments, more.
I love it, dude. I really enjoy it. I personally, and maybe I'm just like, but I think that I personally love seeing new people come to the valley. Like, I'm one of those people that I actually, like, I don't want to exclude people. You know, I think that's the whole problem with other places is exclusion. You know, I don't want to bring that around here. I like it when people come from out of town and want to move here and be here. You know, I love it. I think it's great. There's plenty of room for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, people that are, they're not from here. Does it really matter? We're not all from here. If we start going to that route, you know,
where do you stop?
Yeah, like at some point, where do you stop? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That slippery slope, bro? Yeah. It's
at what point are you gonna be like, okay, none of us are from here, bro? You know, like
so just fuck everybody, or like, what are we doing?
Everybody's cool. Everybody's cool. You have to accept them at some point, you know, even if they're not from here.
I always believe it's like good people too, versus like how you have that negative. As soon as you see somebody new, you're like negative towards them. Just be positive, to prove it otherwise, if they're a dick or something, all right. But
at least you did your part.
Be nice to everybody. Be nice to everybody you meet. Be cool, and that's how you create just like those good vibes for everybody.
Absolutely,
someone walks in the room and they're looking like to start something, you're like, all right, this was kind of
it's like if you want them to go to those little old town bars, you gotta like let them feel wanted, bro. You know what I mean? Like, don't exclude everybody. You know, just be open to new people, new ideas.
Yeah.
You know, as long as they're taking care of, you know, the area, they're not leaving the trash. Like, just take care of it. It's all good.
Bro, if you want to be successful, you definitely got to be open to new ideas. If you're just going to be stuck in your ways and, like, I'm just fuck everybody else, I'm just doing my thing, it's not going to work, man. Yeah. You gotta be supportive and, you know.
Could you imagine you're like, oh, I can't do tile for you because you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. I can't sell you a burger. I'm so sorry.
Oh man,
like,
are you from the Coachella Valley? No, I'm sorry, I
You gotta
can't.
love everybody.
Like,
yeah, are you from the Valley?
oh yeah.
Can I see your ID?
They want to do. They want to do an estimate, but it's like, oh, I just bought this house. We just. Oh, where are you guys moving from? Oh, San Diego, and they just walk out. It's like,
I'm
nah,
sorry, I
sorry.
can't.
you're not from
If
the
you're
valley.
not-
Can't
if
get do
you're
business.
Like, if you've been here for 3 years, then you're technically a local. So.
What's your phone number start with? 760?
No, it's 951.
Fuck, no.
That's always a big giveaway.
That is.
It's like it's funny, but you'll find people like that they're not from here.
The craziest thing is like working remotely, man. That's just like game changer for those people that can. You know, there's certain things you can't do.
You think as soon as everything opens like completely up, you think a lot of people are just gonna stick with the remotely working just because they're like it's,
Yes, I think you're onto it. I think that it's always about money, right? So I think that businesses in general have realized that they can drop expenses and have people work remotely. So if they can drop expenses, it's actually a good thing because then they're able to increase salaries because it's the overhead. Your overhead in a business is what limits you to how much you can spend on staff, on what your payroll is. So if your job, if it's the less they give you, you know, like if you don't have an office, they're probably gonna be able to pay you more money. But it's when they have overhead that they can't. They're gonna have to drop your wage because they have to pay for this stuff.
They got this big old high rise with like 1,000 employees in it.
Don't need it. Right?
Makes sense. Yes, exactly.
Don't need it.
You all could stay home. We don't even need this rent.
That's right. Like taxis, the taxis don't. You know, it's Uber now.
Yeah.
Right, or Lyft, with a Y. Whatever that means. And you know like. So it's like there's nothing is even, you know.
My cousin works for Uber. He works for the corporate in Chicago. He does like logistics of like I guess they do more than just cars. They actually have a lot of shipping. So he has to like coordinate like, oh, this person ordered like a truckload of like this material that just arrived, and he's gonna make sure that everything gets there on time. And any questions. And he's been the last 3 months he's been working remotely. Like he's been in Mexico for a month. He was here in the Valley for a month, and then he went back to Mexico for a month, and he's been working the whole time. He just has to be there from 6 a.m. to like 2 p.m. answering questions and emails and phone calls. And
Zoom has been a great
and that's it. And like he's still working for the corporate, but he's like been traveling and staying at people's houses. And he literally left for the Chicago winter. So over there's like negative degrees. He skipped all that because he was in California.
Think about Uber. Okay, so Uber has their employees working remotely, and then they own no cars.
They own no cars.
They have literally like how much overhead is that?
Yeah.
That's true.
They own no cars. Airbnb owns no hotels. No, they own no real estate. Maybe they own a corporate building.
Yeah.
CV Food Trucks owns no food trucks. They're fraud. I'm building one, so does that count for anything?
That's true. You don't own any food trucks, bro.
I know, right?
Sus, bro.
That's such a weird business.
Do you ever get that, like people hitting you up like, hey, can we get a food truck? Do you guys do parties? What do you do? What?
I give so many caterings out to all the food trucks that I know.
The vendors.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's been phenomenal. I think it's so funny. I told my girl this the other day. I woke up like at 3 a.m. I was like, I just had like this. I don't know if the epiphany is the right word, but it's funny because people love the idea of what I did, but they would never do it themselves. And she's like, what does that even mean? I was like, think about it. We open up a restaurant and we allow other food vendors to be there. There's no other restaurant that would allow other food vendors to sell food and take.
So basically, take their business.
Yeah, I was like, it's just like the concept is so kind of radical in a sense that it doesn't make any sense why you would ever let that. But we're fairly successful in how we do it, so it's like it's just so odd of an idea that it works, you know. So it's like it takes a weird person to come up with like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start a, you know, taxi company and own no taxis, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I personally tried your food, though. It's pretty good.
Thank you. You know, we have a really cool menu coming up for the rest of this year. We're working on opening up. We're going to be open 7 days a week. And we're going to start doing kind of more like niche things during the week. Fun stuff still, but a little more niche because I really want to focus on how cool of a menu we make and how different it is. Because eventually, we are going to expand our kitchen. We're going to end up building out and doing something cool. So, yeah, we're gonna do the coffee thing soon, and the coffee's been a huge hit. I have several employees from Starbucks here, and they left the corporate mind of being in a corporation and make phenomenal phenomenal coffee. Same with people that worked in the food and beverage industry that left that because they felt restrained, like their ideas weren't taken into account.
Too corporate, you can't really speak
Too corporate. It's funny because the number one of the main reasons why people quit their job is not because of pay. People don't know that. Most people leave there because it's of the culture. They don't like the culture there. So, how do we as a restaurant change that culture? How do we make it fun to be working at a place? And so yeah, we're working on that too. We're working on trying to make it incentive for people to want to be here and because the more they like to be here, the easier it is for us. The more a vendor you like the atmosphere, you like how it was.
Just hanging out,
how did you like it when you were here? Just
Oh, it's cool. That's why I come back. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be back, bro. I enjoy it.
And that's cool. We like that. We want to keep that track record that everybody that comes here and wants to sell a product or whatever, then that they have a good time doing it. Life is short. We don't want to, this isn't like, hey, we're here to make money off the vendor. We're here to help each other out. That's what we're here to do. That's, if we were here just to be a restaurant, then one, we wouldn't allow other food vendors to be here. Two, we wouldn't allow other regular vendors to be here. Right now, we work under probably I don't even know, over 30 different businesses that work in and out of this place.
Yeah.
Easily. If not more,
probably more.
Plus, you start including artists, you count them as businesses because they are a business. It's a lot,
What would be the number one advice you have for somebody who wants to get into the restaurant business in 2021, especially in today's climate?
Don't do it. I'm just kidding. No, I would say be very, very cautious about not jumping in and not doing your research. Do your research. Do
you think they should start more like a food type vendor, small?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Vendor service.
Absolutely. If you want to sell food, start a restaurant, then everyone that's around you, that's your friend and your family, should have tried your food already and given their honest opinion about your food. So if your grandma hasn't tried your food, or your mom hasn't tried your food, your mom and dad, then you need to make food and give it to them and say, hey, how much would you pay for this? Make sure your numbers are aligned. And what if they say, hey, I would never eat this, So you think just doing that basic step of selling to your own close people, friends, family, whoever you have around you, sell to them first. Do they like it? Do they not like it? I think once you do it a couple times, my advice is don't keep doing it illegally. Because like I said, doing it illegally gets you nowhere if you're looking at the long-term game. People that come to me and want to do a short-term game, I end up kind of ignoring, or I'm not here to spend time on the short-term game. I'm here for the long-term. So if you want to take it serious, you want to do it serious, hit me up. I'll tell you how to do it. But if you're telling me you want to do it serious and then you just go to do it illegally and you just don't see the value of being legit, what's the point? We're not getting anywhere. So my advice is, if you're gonna do it 100%, always. Don't
Don't be half pregnant.
Don't do it. Don't exactly. Do it 100%, bro.
Is that why you decided to go cashless here in the restaurant? Because you're probably the first one in the valley that I know that you're cashless. It's all card.
I'm all card.
All
and
digital.
We're soon to add crypto.
You and
Yeah, we're working on that.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys should. Have you talked to anybody about adding a crypto ATM?
Yeah.
You already have somebody doing it?
Yeah, it's called
Bit Minus?
Bit Minus.
Oh, he was on my podcast. Shout out. Legit.
So they're building.
We're soon
Good
accepting
move.
crypto here.
Soon accepting crypto here.
He's a cool guy, man.
Yeah,
Cool guy.
and, you know, so we're open to it, and you know, we even have a thing, bro. We're straight up. We even besides crypto, we even accept non-currency things. If you're a kid and you do a book report or any of the books we have out there, we give you a free meal, free drink.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
So you don't even have to bring money into this place and get fed. So
As long as you're doing something.
At the end of yeah, exactly. At the end of the night, if you're here, at the end of the night, you've seen we give away all our aguas frescas at the end of the night. We're the only place that does that. I don't know any. We don't throw away. We try not to throw away anything. We give it all away.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're very.
Well, I saw you on your guys' Easter. You know, your guys' Easter. You did like multiple Easter egg hunts. You guys had like all kinds of stuff given away. So
yeah, we gave a bunch of stuff away to the kids. We have candy up there, and all the kids get free candy. You know, it's just we're very different. I'll walk around, whoever's been buying whatever. If you have a table, you can ask them around. We bring them stuff, whatever, for free. Just try out. We're different. We're not your average restaurant. We're not in it for just the money. We're in it for a long term. You know, we want people to try our stuff and like it. If they like it, if they don't, well, they didn't pay for it. So you're all good.
And you said because I know you probably deal with a lot of negativity all the time.
Yeah.
When you're doing good things, people are always skeptical.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true. They're not really that cool, or why are they doing it? Do you get a lot of objections trying to open this place because the idea of a restaurant here in downtown Indio that historically has been not a successful part of town?
Yeah, I think it's been one of the biggest challenges is telling people, hey, they're like, why are you going to invest in something that there's nothing there? And I see it the opposite. I say, I want to be there and plant the seed. I want to help be part of that. There's been other people that have been here. In fact, let's look at the historical things. Right across the street from where I am is one of the most historical sites, one of the most successful seafood restaurants ever in the valley. It was right here off of Miles in Indio Hotel, where it burned down. In fact, the arches are still there. So this place has good vibes. It's not that it doesn't have good vibes. You just have to do your research. But this place has been very successful. This area in general has been very successful. But you have to do that research and say, there's nothing there now. But you guys, I mean, you've been here, you've seen, there's traffic now, we fill up the streets. We've done it. And the other thing, we broke the stigma of an event, the whole thing of an event. We basically, in a sense, thrown an event every single weekend for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's been different every single day. So how do we do that? Well, we just did. We just did it.
That's crazy.
So,
now, when you put it that way, because I remember 2019 when you first started, it was like, oh, cool, a food truck event. Like, I remember hearing about it. I didn't even know what that was. Like, a food park? Like, I guess we'll go check it out. And, ended up vlogging his event and, like, just, like, being blown away. That's when I met this dude. I interviewed him. I didn't even know. I was like, hey, you want to be in my video? I'm making a vlog. And he was just talking about the community and this. And, like, this guy's cool. I probably, like, won't even see him anymore, but he's cool. And then second vlog, and then he hit me up, and he was showing this video to other cities, like, oh, this is my food truck event. And because in the vlog, I showed kind of, like, the whole trucks. And then this is just like, oh, yeah, I've been sharing your video. And then, like, out of nowhere, I looked at the video, it had, like, over 1,000 views. Because this is promoting, so he's promoting the video that I made.
Damn,
and, like, we just became friends from there, did podcasts. And now, like, he told me about this over a year ago. I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be here. I got this cool spot. I remember he told me it was like low key, and then he's like, yeah, it's gonna be here. I have a video where he's walking around like an empty building. He's like, oh, I'm gonna have food, aguas frescas here. I'm gonna have coffee here. I'm gonna have this here. And then like a year later, it's like the streets are packed every weekend. It's pretty crazy, bro.
All out of pocket, no loans. So learn that you don't need to go pull out a big old loan out.
Just come up with the right plan.
Just come up with the right plan. Put your money in the right spot. Have faith, And don't be scared of not making a profit at the beginning. Most businesses don't feel like like it's the end of the world. So, but at the same time, don't like put your kids' college money into like something that you gotta be like smart about it a little bit, So I'm not gonna say like don't follow your dreams. Follow your dreams, maybe not your heart. I say follow your heart if you're gonna like be with somebody forever. You want to find the right person. Business, you definitely wanna like it be cool to you because you're gonna be married to that thing. Like, I love what I do, which is why I'm here all the time. But if I hated it, I wouldn't want to be here. Angel's here all the time. I know he loves what he's doing. It's like his thing.
Yeah.
He's like doing estimates. I'm sure right after this, you gotta do some estimates for Tao, right?
Yeah, I gotta send a bunch of emails.
There you go. See what I mean? It's non-stop, bro.
Non-stop.
After this, I'm gonna walk outside, put in some shelving, and for more storage. Just today alone, I took a vacation this week to just catch up on our menu, catch up on our different things we have at the restaurant. So it was like a vacation, but it was work because we're at the baby stages, so we're always working, bro.
And you're sacrificing your time for your job, like for the long term. That's what this is like the theme you've been talking about. It's just long term. So you could have been in Mexico partying this weekend or San Diego, whatever, but you decided like I'm gonna take a week off. But instead of taking a week off, you're working on your business in the restaurant, making it better, coming up with ideas about the coffee shop and everything. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and you're gonna be doing some really cool tile work there. You can check it out. We're picking up we gotta go to Floor and Decor after this, so.
Yeah, the one that they close it early, bro.
Or do they?
They're closed already.
Luckily, I get to go online. Everything's digital now, so.
Bro, I got the same question for you. How have you dealt? Because you're like especially having a YouTube channel that's successful and like the podcast and all that. How have you dealt with the having haters and all, like for me, example, like haters definitely show you're doing something right. It's got to show like you don't get haters if your shit sucks. I feel like people don't even watch it at that point.
Yeah, I've had a lot of haters, especially. So my number one view was I recorded Will Smith performing at Coachella. That video blew up like crazy. That one, the comments mostly positive. Then there's other videos that they were made like. I knew it was gonna get a lot of views because I've been doing YouTube for a while. So it's like I'm gonna do a first reaction to this Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah,
and they got 400,000 views, and it's like 50% of them are negative.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't react, like how YouTube reactions, like people go like, "Oh my god," and then they pause the video and they're like, that shit's fake. I've done it before. Nobody reacts like that, and they pause it because you get a copyright strike if you don't pause the video and break it up and talk. So it's all scripted. Yeah. All those like first reaction videos are all scripted. Not scripted, but it's not.
It's just not authentic.
It's not as authentic. So I just put it there, and then since the episode was like an hour long. I forgot that like we were even recording because we were watching the show, so we're just watching it. We didn't do crazy reactions, so it's all negative there. And I've had other videos, Coachella videos. I'll make a video, and then people just sometimes leave negative comments because people, I don't know, like you go on the internet and then you leave a negative comment, like it's kind of dumb. And then usually when I respond to all my comments. So if there's a negative comment, I respond back in a nice way. Like, oh, thank you for watching. My bad. I'm sorry you didn't like it or whatever. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I didn't even know you were going to respond back. I'm unsubscribed to you. That was just trolling. Like, a lot of that happened probably over a dozen times where they're like, oh, I didn't even know you were going to comment back. Keep up the good work or whatever.
They're like, oh, you're actually kind of cool.
They were just people trolling, I used to have a friend who did that back in, like, when we were in high school. He used to have two YouTube accounts. And he would go, like, into a soccer video and, like, talk shit. And then with his other account, he'll like either talk like gang on the other person, like going back and forth. Yeah, he was both people, just to be a troll. He literally would go on YouTube just to be a troll. So like I know there's people that like to do that, but yeah. So for the most part, when it comes to like hating from other people that are like locals and stuff, the most one I got is like you're wasting your time. Like, oh, why are you wasting your time doing that? Like I don't know. It's like you're wasting because it's new, but I don't see it as a waste of time because it's like an investment. Some of the for money wise, like even for social media, like I've gotten jobs and opportunities just because I've made content. Things that would never happen, conversations with people that like I met Eric, you, other people that I've made connections with just because I've made content. And when I first started making content, there was nobody here in the Valley making content. I was one of the first ones that I know making YouTube videos. And even till now, like you said you only know 2 podcasts. There's been 12 years of podcasting and people in the Valley just don't make content. There's very small amount of YouTubers, very small amount of vloggers. Even if someone does start here, they end up moving to LA or they end up moving to Orange County or San Diego. Like nobody wants to make content here. So that was one of my first goals when I first started doing YouTube. I was like, how come people aren't making YouTube videos here? And I've already encouraged a few people to start their channels. Maybe even just on Instagram. Some people don't like YouTube, but they want to become influencers on Instagram. And it just leads to so much connections. That's like the biggest thing, connections with other people. Sometimes it's not monetary or views. A video might get 50 views when you do it, but the relationship you build with that podcast, like the opportunities that come from it, the people, someone might have listened to that and then they're like, oh, I want to be on your podcast. Or he shares it and somebody hits you up, hey, how could I be on your podcast? And that leads to business, long-term relationship. And it's like, don't hold yourself to one thing, just do it.
It's not straight cash. Like, it's not just
going back to where Eric said long-term, you're building long-term. And for podcasting, that's like the number one. It's like people are going to hate because they think they could do it because it looks easy. But it's hard to be consistent, and it's like we said, editing, post-production, picking guests, doing this. So I don't even care about the hate. Like it's like I've done so many cringe stuff. Like some of my videos, I started with just my YouTube. Like my friend would record us with no tripod and shit. Like this, the worst quality. I used to get super nervous too because you're new to video. Like 2015 is when I started. I used to get super nervous and like all tense, but it's like whatever, just keep going.
Yeah, and a lot of haters, I feel like they know they couldn't do it. Like they wouldn't put in the work. Not that, like, because you could do it. Obviously, you record a video with it, but I feel like a lot of people wouldn't put in the work, so that's why they hate on it. They're like, fuck, dude. Like I can't even keep up with this guy. So like, the only thing I could do is hopefully make sure he fucks up, and like.
And even the people that hate, they're looking at your stuff, or they know you're doing something.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you looking at all my shit?
I was like, oh shit, he dropped another podcast, or whatever. Oh, he dropped another podcast, or whatever. Oh, he dropped another, and then the 7th, 8th time, let me listen to that one because I know that person. Yeah. And then they end up watching like 2 or 3 old podcasts, and then they might not even hit you up, but they already kind of listened to a few. They might not see the next 10 podcasts you do, but then the 12th podcast, they'll be like, oh, I know that person too. And now you get them twice. Yeah. And now little by little, but that's how it happens.
And the craziest, almost what's crazier than the haters are the unexpected fans, the people you run into randomly. And you're like, I've seen a couple people, like, I saw one guy at like The Habit, and then I saw another guy at the gas station, and he's like, hey, you're the host of the 100 podcast? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, bro, I don't even have that many subscribers. Like, how do you even watch this shit,
It's because, the subscribers, the stuff is just, it's nice to get subscribers and views, but it's just as long as you're doing it and showing up the next time, whoever's listening, they know you're doing it. That's the number one thing. You got to keep showing people that you're doing it, you keep going. Because I have a video with 1 million views, but a lot of videos get like 100 views or 50 views, and some of them don't. It's like I know that I'm gonna make a Coachella video right now. I'll get over 1,000 views, guaranteed. Like my last 10 Coachella videos, I averaged like 5,000 views, and I haven't made a Coachella video because it's like I don't want to force myself to make videos about something that's not. There's no content. There's no news. Exactly. Golden Voice hasn't released anything. There's nothing going on. So I don't want to just make Coachella content just because I'm going to get more views. I'm doing more. I tried vlogs for a little bit. I have some vlogs and then some podcasts just because I'm trying to document more of the stuff that I'm doing. And I'm not doing it for the views because if I could just make, instead of wasting my time on podcasts, I would just be a Coachella video every 2 days.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have an idea of the algorithm.
Every 2 days. Like my audience is all Coachella. So it's like, I don't want to just do that for the views. It's like I'm trying to build long term.
Yeah, I like it.
Long term, that's what it is. And I get more from a podcast like this that's gonna get 100 views than a Coachella video that is just me talking about the latest news or rumors. The connections I build with you guys is more important.
It helps build the foundation.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's just something. When I look back, it's cool to see this conversation. When 20 years from now, you get another thing is documenting yourself. Like I have videos from 2015 when I look back and it's like, oh damn, that's how I used to look or what I used to think, or I made a video about this. You're kind of documenting your life. So 20 years down the road, you could show your kid, oh look, here's videos of this, or there's videos here. You're documenting it, your steps along the way. And it's like when you look back at baby pictures or pictures when you were a kid, it's a picture. Our parents probably didn't have cameras, so it's like, sometimes it's cool to just look at pictures, but imagine looking back at, if you had videos when you were 10, you've seen yourself freaking playing and, wow, I used to think that, or I remember that, you know?
Exactly.
So it's another way to just create it for documentation.
I like that.
Long term.
That's a really cool thought.
Yeah, that's some of the coolest stuff is going to the old episodes and seeing how nervous and like jumpy and like you're like how much you stutter or like you're like or what, you know, it's like that's so fun, man. It's so fun.
And you could, if you have you had podcasts with recurring guests? Like,
yeah.
Says how much easier and cooler it is with the second time.
I had one guy, like I was talking about the plants and him growing the microgreens and all that. First episode was like 20 minutes, like 25 minutes. Second episode was like 2 hours. So it was just like one of those like,
yeah,
you just worked the second time way better. Yeah.
It happens. That's what's cool about podcasting and just doing things in general. You don't get haters if you're not doing cool restaurant and cool ideas. If you were to open a regular restaurant, no one wouldn't even say anything.
They might not say that.
But you're doing something that's out the box that it's like, well, why is he doing that? Yeah. Cashless, like, bro, you want to like profit some of the tips or something, you know, like, why is he doing cashless? Or why are you allowing people to sell in your space? Like, you're losing profits, bro. What are you doing?
And don't be afraid to do it like what other people have done. Like you guys, don't be afraid to do it. They just, you know, there's 2 podcasters right here. You want to do a podcast, do it. Reach out. Yeah. You know, they might even help you, give you pointers. And
I've helped out 2 people start their podcast. Like, just give them ideas. Here's like, oh, this is what I did. This is not the only way to do it. Like, I do it different than you. And we do it different than anybody other's platforms, audio, like I said, video. Yeah. And it's like the world is so big. There's 2 billion active users on YouTube every day. And it's only going to grow. The population of the world is expanding. And like how you said that everyone has a phone and a camera, in 5-10 years, more people like in developing countries are going to have phones and cameras and kids.
Exactly.
Like right now, 60-year-olds aren't like looking up into social media that much. But the people that are 10 years old now, when they're 20, they're going to be all on social media. It's all YouTube. It's all those platforms. So it's like the audience, there's going to be an audience for everything. And you don't need to have a lot of viewers every single time as long as you're doing something you want to do. So.
There's always room, man. There's always room to get your own audience. And that's the worst mentality to have, is that famine mentality that I can only be the one, you know?
Only be the one. Like, no.
It's like if you're a restaurant, it's like, I'm gonna be the only Mexican restaurant in the valley, bro. It's like, what do you mean? That's a good example. There's like how many 100 Mexican restaurants here, and they're all open because there's enough people.
There's enough people.
There's enough to go around. There's enough for a pizza place. There's enough for this.
And don't be afraid. Like if someone's already doing something and you're like, hey, I want to do it different, do it. Don't be afraid of the backlash that's gonna occur from that. You know. It will happen. It will happen, and but don't be afraid of it. You know, don't encourage it. That's fine. Let it happen. Don't be one of the participants in it. Don't be like, oh, you know, because it'll happen to you. You know, it'll happen to you. You know, you want to sell whatever, the best, you know, taco in the world. Someone else is gonna sell the best taco in the world, and then someone else is gonna, you know, it's just gonna happen. So don't be afraid of that. It's evolution. You know, it's gonna happen. And yeah.
That's a good note to end it. Before we take off, where could people find your
on podcast? IG? It's 100 Podcast, spelled out 100 HUNDRED podcast, and then YouTube is 100 Podcast 100 podcast. So basically, any other social media is 100 Podcast spelled out. That's where you find me.
That's dope. So make sure if you guys subscribe to his podcast, social medias, Instagram,
YouTube, IG, Twitter.
YouTube, IG. Yeah, these are on all the platforms.
What about you, bro?
You can find us on Instagram, or you can just come to our shop.
You don't need to find my social media.
You can find me here. I'll be here every day.
You'll probably like see me here. You know what I mean? If I show up, I'll probably be here. And yeah, my Instagram is, so I have 2 of them. I've developed one for just the food park, which is Indio Food Park. And that's on all the stuff. And then the other one is CB food trucks. No, we don't own a food truck, which is why it's called CB Food Trucks. Duh. All right. So yeah, you can follow us on that, or visit us on Miles, and right next to Yellow Mart on Miles and I keep forgetting.
Smur?
Miles and Smur. Right here on the corner.
I used to call it Burr Street, but that's over there.
I know he kept saying Burr, and I called it
LQ
Burr.
over there.
Yeah.
He called it Burr, and I was like, oh, it's on Burr, and
Burr's over there with the basketball courts, right?
Yeah, Smur. Between
Smur.
Town and Smur. Yep.
Man, honestly though, your location, if it gets popping over here, would be such a sick spot. Like, think about people walking up and down the road right here.
I love it.
In India, it's like so. It'd be
It
so
just needs
cool.
a couple more things opening up. So there's more
Exactly.
traffic.
Yeah.
Because the people here is like, then they could hop into the next, shops. And,
Exactly.
And then those people here could come here. It's just, I think he's going to start a little chain.
Chain, yeah.
That's what we need.
It's the first
for
one.
sure.
It's always the hardest one, getting the
Yeah.
first person
And
there.
you're gonna forget about Eric who? Eric who?
I was like,
I
dude,
know.
downtown Indio is amazing. And then it's like, remember Eric when he, no.
He's the one that began this.
Yeah.
But now you have it documented on video, so
Yeah,
people are going to
documented.
send them the links. It's like, hey, there was nothing here, bro.
There was miners, or were they were, I don't remember.
We started when there was people looking for gold,
Yeah, they were
and the whole
looking for
time
gold. It was the
the
gold
gold
rush.
was this building the whole time.
Yeah. Ye old gold rush. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Thank you guys
Alright.
for letting me
Peace out. I never even looked at the camera. I don't think this whole time.
Peace.